Okay, welcome to Fulfilled. Super excited. This is my third Fulfilled, so super excited to be here. My day one a couple of years ago was actually out of Fulfilled. So I walked in, first day, welcome to ShipBob. All these merchants surrounding me, telling me all the challenges and what are you going to do about it, Melissa? And so here we are 2 years later. So I'm the Chief Supply Chain Officer at ShipBob. I just passed my 2-year anniversary. Time has flown by. It's been a blast so far. Previous to ShipBob, I was with Amazon for almost 10 years, helping to scale that network. My team shipped 52 million items a day at Amazon, so really massive scale. And I cut my teeth in supply chain, actually in manufacturing, before joining Amazon. So I think that gave me a really great supply chain foundation, understanding all the challenges with manufacturing and how to get things moving at Flex, which is a contract manufacturer. I live in Nashville. If you want to talk about all the fun of Nashville at some point, I'm happy to fill you in. I love Nashville. It's a great city to live in. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about what we're doing in the supply chain world. And I could spend all day up here, but I'm going to try to hammer through some key points. But there are a lot of people here who weren't here last year or the year before. And I made a bunch of commitments last year up on stage. Luckily, we came through on our commitments. And so last year we talked about the expansion of hub and spoke and how we were getting even bigger with our hub and spoke network. And we simplified receiving by moving all of our receiving in North America through our hub network. And I'm really excited to say that we have completely blown away our volumes through our hub and spoke network. Hundreds of millions of items are rolling through the hub and spoke network today, and that's been a huge success. That really unlocked, last year I showed a pretty cool video about ShipBob logistics. And so we have this hub and spoke network moving inbound goods. How do we leverage that for outbound shipments as well? And so ShipBob logistics throughout last year was a massive focal point. We had just launched our first sort center in Moreno Valley before Fulfilled last year, and we watched a really cool video, and you're going to see that automation tomorrow at the fulfillment center down the street. But we have gone big. So we've launched 4 sort centers with ShipBob Logistics, and it's really unlocked our ability to manage the carrier experience far better with better carrier tracking, and it unlocked our ability to inject into a bunch of additional carriers. And so if you look at the performance of ShipBob Logistics versus an injection just straight into a carrier without ShipBob touching that package, our performance is 130 basis points better in terms of that delivery experience for your end customer. So we are doing a better job stewarding your packages through our logistics network and getting it to your customer's doorstep. That's a lot for us to be proud of. Now, last year I also talked about zone skipping. And so ShipBob Logistics and having our own sortation network unlocks our ability to zone skip. So what is zone skipping? What does that actually mean? That means that if you have inventory sitting in one of our Northeast fulfillment centers and it needs to be delivered to Dallas, maybe you're not on our IPP program for inventory placement. You should be, but if you're not, then that inventory may be in the Northeast and it needs to be to an end customer in Dallas. In the past, we would give that package to a carrier in the Northeast and it would ride maybe with FedEx, UPS, one of our many carriers to the Dallas address. Now, because of our IPP program and our daily trucks that are moving across the network, we take that package, inject it into one of our trucks in the Northeast, and move it to Dallas and put it in our sort center network here in Dallas. You'll see that tomorrow in the fulfillment center. We're actively injecting last mile packages into Dallas, and then now that package is a zone 1 injection to the Dallas customer instead of it was probably a zone 5-6 from the Northeast. So it's really helped us to change the game in terms of how we're moving packages. Less touches, faster transit time, better customer experience, really going big on zone skipping this year. This year, we'll have even more packages going through. We have 10 daily lanes running zone skipping right now. We continue to scale this program. It's going to get even bigger for next year. So a lot of great stuff from 2024 that we talked through. I want to talk about what's coming up. What are our teams working on to future-proof your supply chains as we look into the future? And so I'll hit on these 4 R's that Drew mentioned, which are really resonate with the way we're thinking about building our supply chain. And so the 4 R's really kind of talk about each of the functions that we're building out to support our inventory movement throughout our network. And so let's start with responsive. We've seen our merchants really working to expand in the B2B space. And so maybe our merchants start out smaller and then they want to get into retail, and ShipBob can help you with this. We've gone big in B2B. B2B volumes for ShipBob have grown over 250%. And so we're doing a lot of investment specific to our B2B offering. So first, starting with load management. This is a really key unlock for B2B movements throughout our network. So load management allows us to capture BOLs at the lane level, at the load level, with a bunch of more shipment details, including seal numbers. These are like the pain points that will hurt your supply chain. It's the paper cuts. And so at load management, we will know exactly at the load level, BOLs, a bunch of additional attributes that we can talk about, and then also the seal numbers of how trucks are moving throughout the network. And that feeds into the next piece of it, which is our retail compliance module. We support over 150 retailers. For those of you who do B2B business, you probably know how complex that is. It's a lot to manage all of these different retailers. They all have different requirements. Put the label in the top left, 1 inch from the corner of the box. Never mind, put the label on the bottom right. Keeping all of that straight is very challenging. And in a manual world, it's even harder. So we are building out a retail compliance module which automates all of this stuff. So it's aware of exactly what the requirements are, and it tells the associate step by step what to do for each of these retailers. 150 of them right now. We'll continue to expand out from there. So as an example, it will prompt the associate to use a slip sheet for a Vitamin Shop. Maybe there's an Array order, and Array ships into Vitamin Shop. They need a slip sheet. But don't add the slip sheet for Dick's Sporting Goods, for Vuori, because they don't want a slip sheet. And actually, they might charge you back if you do it. So keeping all of this straight and automating that process through our WMS is key to continuing to onboard additional retailers into our platform. And then another paper cut, when we need to modify an order for B2B. Maybe you say, never mind, take that line off of the order for Ulta. We're actually going to reserve that inventory, and we're going to use it for D2C. If we already started picking that order, it's painful to go modify that process. We have to pause. We have to do manual work on the back end. All of that's being addressed. So we have new technology coming that helps us to short ship and or modify orders even after it's been packed. So we're not waiting and taking time in that entire process. A lot of good stuff when it comes to our B2B support, which has really helped us to scale. We're going to have Mike from Vuori up here next with me, and you're going to hear about the way in which we're able to scale B2B for Vuori and really helped us to unlock. And then lastly, I want to talk about AI. So it's the hot button, right? Everyone, it's the sexy term to use AI, but we're using AI today for retailer AI, which helps us to review those compliance guides. Walmart's compliance guide, I think, is 270-something pages. So AI is helping us to scrub all those compliance guides and turning that into actual work instructions that we can take action on. So we've already started using that. We're also implementing AI tech to do checks that right now have been manual. We take photos of all of our B2B orders, the pallets as they're staged, the pallets as they're loaded, which helps you with chargebacks. Right, there was a human that was reviewing those pallet pictures and saying, you know what, you loaded it wrong, or you need to fix this. All of that's being replaced by AI. So we have AI technology that can look at those photos and flag us that there's a problem before it makes it on the truck. And then similarly, order attachments. So AI technology can scan order attachments and make sure we have all the right information. If there's anything missing, it flags as an exception. And you no longer need a human sitting there reading all these order attachments, making sure it's in check. So good stuff coming from the B2B world. And really a lot of this, all of it, is based off feedback from our current merchants. Now let's talk about global scale. We continue to expand globally. I was in the UK a couple weeks ago with our international teams. Amazing work being done there to help our merchants to expand globally and really make it easy for you to expand from maybe the US to one of our international markets. Based on feedback, we're really excited to announce that we're launching Spain in September. This is based on feedback from our merchants of how can I reach my Southern Europe customers faster? And so Spain's coming in September. Teams are working hard to get that site up and ready. Racking was going in. I saw pictures recently. And so the teams are working really hard to make sure that we can support Spain in September. So that'll be ready in time for peak. Now, compliance. Let's talk about being a reliable partner. Compliance is definitely critical to what we do every single day. We have to be on top of regulatory requirements for you so that you don't have to. That's our job. And so we've done a lot of work in this space. Our compliance team has delivered big for us. We now have GMP certified sites across every region. GMP is like the foundation of do you have good processes? Do you have pest control? All these things, security, all the things you need to have if you have a fulfillment network. So GMP is like basically what I'd call table stakes. We're also implementing GFSI, which is like GMP but on steroids. It's for food safety. So it's, can you support recalls? Do you have the right lot control? All these things are really critical for managing food throughout the supply chain. And so now we're working on GFSI sites, and we have them in every region. So we can support that kind of end-to-end journey. We're also going big on hazmat. So we have hazmat storage locations in every region. You shouldn't have to care about this, but we can't store more than 10,000 pounds of an aerosol in one building. That's a fire hazard. So we make sure that we're tracking all of that and protecting it from risk in that space. And then we're going big on DG shipping. So even more technology and offerings are coming for dangerous goods shipping in September. That's new carrier options. And so a plug, if this applies to you, if you're shipping dangerous goods, please go on to your dashboard, upload your SDS forms. It's really easy to do now right on your dashboard, and you can upload your SDS in the product catalog, and that'll help us to unlock these additional carrier options for you. It's our job to stay on top of compliance for you, so again, you don't have to worry about it, and we have great options. Drew mentioned de minimis going away. We thought that it was going to be 2027, even in the big, beautiful bill, I think is what it was called. It said 2027, de minimis was going to go away. And then we were all surprised by the executive order that said, just kidding, it's August of 25. And so we really want to make sure that we can come through for our brands and support you in terms of what do you do if you're impacted by de minimis. And so we have a couple of options. You may have seen the announcement Drew mentioned. There's a couple ways you can think about free trade zone. And so if you're not tracking, free trade zone allows you to import goods into the United States, store it in a free trade zone warehouse, and you don't pay duties on that until it ships. And so it's a deferral of those duties, which can be a game changer. There are two options for free trade zone. One is we can pick, pack, and ship from a free trade zone location. So if you have, maybe not as much inventory and you really want to pick, pack, and ship from that one location, we can help to support you with that and onboard into one of our free trade zone. The other option is what we call free trade zone reserve. This is, you can ship it into a reserve location, pallet case quantity, hold it there, and then when you're ready, maybe you're on the IPP program and you're ready to ship it to a fulfillment center, we can do that replenishment for you. So you can have all your inventory in one spot, case, pallet quantity, you're not paying duty on it yet, then you ship it to the fulfillment center, that's when you pay duty. So we'd love to talk more about free trade zone if this applies to you, so we can help to support you through this change, because it's a big change and it came really fast. All right, now part of being a really great partner is owning the full end-to-end customer experience. When you talk to a lot of 3PLs, they're going to approach it as if the problem stops as soon as there's a tracking number and it's been handed off to the carrier. That's not how ShipBob thinks about our ownership. We really want to take control of the end-to-end experience from the time the order imports into our system to the time it's delivered to the customer doorstep and everything in between. This year, you're going to hear us talk about DEA a lot. DEA is delivery estimate accuracy. So it's how often did we hit the commitment that we committed it would be on the customer porch. This is shamelessly stolen from Amazon. After spending almost 10 years at Amazon, we helped to build out the DEA program, and we started talking this language in ShipBob recently. And you can see on the chart there our DEA performance since we started talking about what is DEA. How often are we nailing the date we said it was going to be on the porch, it's on the porch. And I'm really happy to say since we started talking about it, we're at 98% DEA. That is actually on par with Amazon experience of how effective they are in delivering a package. So we'll continue to invest in DEA and working with carriers, our own internal processes to make sure we're nailing that customer commitment and it shows up to the customer doorstep when we say it's going to be there. Along with DEA, we've created ShipBob. Now, if you haven't seen ShipBob, it takes all the scan events from multiple sources, which can be super confusing for your end customer, and it brings it into all one seamless spot. So maybe you have multiple carriers touching a package. It was in the ShipBob sortation network. Then it went to a consolidator, and then it went to the postal service. Customers get confused. They have to click through a lot of different links to say, where's my package? We've simplified that. So ShipBob brings it all into one location. You can even brand it with your own brand and have your logo on a seamless tracking experience. That allows us to surface even more tracking events and scan events to your customers at your choosing. So we can configure that, and you can choose to expose what you'd like to expose. ShipBob's a game changer for how we're bringing that whole story together as we launch and go bigger on zone skipping and ShipBob logistics. Let's talk about returns. Returns are a big pain point, and we're going big on returns. You're going to see more coming for 2026 around returns. And so we're developing technology for returns that allow us to bring packages in and inject maybe returns. The best economic decision is that you want to resell it on Poshmark, as an example. We can have those direct integrations into Poshmark to move your inventory. Maybe it doesn't even make sense for us to do the grading because the item is worth $3. Okay, then we can dispose of that item. And then it helps us to also tie into partners like Giving Kind. Giving Kind's here. I just talked to Emily from Giving Kind this morning at breakfast. But we've actually made it cheaper for you to donate your items through Giving Kind than it is to throw them in the dumpster. And so we can do those automatic dispositions with the way we're going into returns, which is a big improvement for how we're thinking about the end holistic supply chain, and then how you can inject into, like, even get better things out of your goods like Giving Kind, which is a huge benefit. All right, let's talk about Fast Track Receive. I think that some folks in the room are going to get really excited about this, so I'm a little bit apprehensive to even share it. Fast Track Receive was an unlock for Vuori. Fast Track Receive allows us, if you have clean inventory coming into our network, clean I describe as single case, or single SKU in a case, single SKU on a pallet. You tell us in advance it's going to show up. Then we can fast track receive your inventory into our network, and we're seeing one-day SLAs when we do this. And so this is, we're going through beta and launching merchants on this that have clean receive. You may be shocked by this, but 46% of the inbound that we receive into our network, we actually don't get the WRO in advance until the day that it shows up, 46% of the time. So if you're part of the 46%, you're not going to be eligible for fast track receive. But if you're not, you tell us in advance, we can actually consume that information into our system. It shows up on our receiving dock, and at our hub, we can scan the case or pallet, it fast track receives, and we can immediately stow that inventory. For Vuori, we're seeing times up between 9 and 11 hours between the time it showed up and the time we stowed it, and it was ready for sale to an end customer. So it's a big unlock, more to come. You guys are going to see information about fast track receive, but it's just our ability to unlock an even faster supply chain, particularly for merchants that have a lot of high volume coming into our hub and don't want to see that 3-day delay in receiving. And then for pick, we're optimizing pick in a big way to drive more efficiency and get more throughput from our network. So shamelessly stealing again from, we have several ex-Amazon folks on our team that we really were able to optimize through separation of singles picking, multis picking, using put wall and sortation and consolidation. And so we're putting a lot of additional technology into our buildings to help us to get more throughput in the same amount of space through automation. So some really great wins that you'll hear more about on the FC tour when you go tomorrow. All right, and then I would be remiss if I didn't talk about peak. Peak is 14 weeks away. It's going to be here before we know it. We are well into the thick of peak planning at ShipBob. We have machine learning models that tell us when your inventory is going to arrive into our network. You can see the graph under the inbound. That's what the machine learning model is saying that our inbound is going to look like right now. And our machine learning models are really great. But we would love for us to move that spike to the left if we can, and do it earlier. So this is a plug to please get your inventory coming into our network. I would encourage you, if you don't leverage IPP, leverage IPP. Let's talk about inventory placement and how it could help you. Even for peak, if it's some of your top selling SKUs, it really is a game changer in terms of reducing your transportation costs by getting your inventory closer to that end customer. And so if that's not you, but you'd like to learn more, let's chat in the next 24, 48 hours about IPP and how it may even help you to solve for peak. We're not gonna stop receiving throughout peak. Some 3PLs, you'll hear a cutoff of like Thanksgiving and they're not gonna receive anymore. For us, that's bananas. We're gonna keep receiving all the way up until Christmas Eve. But we would love for you to help us to get inventory in earlier, create those WROs, and get it coming to us. And then for outbound, we're really excited about a massive spike in outbound this year. You can see the graph there under outbound, which shows kind of how our order import is gonna look. Again, machine learning models tell us with really close accuracy what peak's gonna look and feel like for us, and we're planning around that. But let us know your promotions, get us your forecasts. It's gonna be a top conversation, our QBRs with our merchants, to really understand what promotions you're gonna run, what do you think peak's gonna look like, and we can inject that data into our machine learning models so that we can make sure that we have your peak forecast ready and locked in. And again, I'm gonna mention IPP. If your inventory is closer to your customer, then outbound, you're gonna see later holiday cutoffs. Because your inventory is now, you can get a cutoff on the 22nd instead of on the 20th because of your transit time. So IPP really is a game changer to push your peak even closer to that Christmas Day cutoff. All right, at ShipBob, we are such a critical part of your operation. Drew mentioned, we want to be the invisible execution behind what you do. So we'd love to hear more areas where we can improve. Please attend the feedback sessions tomorrow. We literally take everything from those feedback sessions, and then that informs our product roadmaps. And then you'll hear me up here next year talking about all the feedback you gave and then what we did about it. And so thank you. We're excited about what's to come.